going on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes review of The Gentlemen.
Yes.
Is it men or man?
Gentlemen.
Men. The Gentlemen.
All of the men in the movie were gentle.
Yeah, literally, they were gentle. Anyways, I am Armando. With me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello.
What's up, Peds?
Chilling, man. Ready?
Did anyone ever call you a Peds dispenser?
No, that's a first.
Mm.
That's a first. That's actually quite clever.
Cool, man.
It's more clever than other bullshit I got. Nice.
Got you, buddy.
A Peds dispenser.
Got you, man. You could use that as your new screen name for anything you create.
Yeah. I prefer Mr. Lefty.
You could put Mr. Peds left or left Peds.
No, there's too much. It's too many. Too many syllables.
Anyways, Pedro, we're gonna talk about The Gentlemen today.
Yes.
This Guy Ritchie movie that came out
Guy
recently.
Ritchie's latest, not greatest movie.
I mean, I don't think he has done anything great in a while.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Aladdin.
Yeah.
And he made Aladdin.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why the fuck is he doing Aladdin?
During our review, I'm gonna look up what he's done, and then we'll get to the Pacifics later.
So, as always, Pedro, we are going to do 1 out of 5. But before we do that, give us a premise.
There's a lot of stories going on, but I'll keep it simple.
Tell me.
Essentially, it has Matthew McConaughey's character. I don't even remember his name. He just called himself the Lion the entire movie, essentially.
Wasn't it Michael? Mike Miggs?
Hold up. Mickey. So Mickey, a.k.a. Matthew McConaughey, is this big time, the quintessential drug dealer for weed in all of London. And he's made so much money. He's a success. No one's caught him. No one knows how he makes his shit. The best of the best. And he decides to retire. Now, in doing so to retire, he's trying to figure out who to sell his operation to. And then that's generally the premise of it. And then with that comes in all these casting characters and all this other stuff starts coming into play with the conflict stopping him from doing that, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the general premise.
Yeah, that's pretty much the story. Mm-hmm. Cool, Pedro. Thank you for illuminating us on that.
You're welcome.
Let us know, 1 out of 5. What did you thought? Small thoughts.
Okay, I give it a... I'm going to get real specific here.
Cool. Let's break it down to the Dewey Decimal.
It is a 2.75.
Shit.
I got real... I didn't quite like it, but I didn't quite not like it.
Yeah. I get that feeling.
So it had stuff in there that was salvageable. Like there's some characters in it that I really enjoyed. Like Colin Farrell's character, on fucking point.
But he's always good.
He was the best. His crew was pretty good too. There were a few jokes with the crew that were like a little, they could have been a little funnier.
Yeah.
But pretty much the general idea of this movie that I didn't like was that it wasn't wacky enough. So I love Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. I love Snatch. Snatch to me is his fucking...
Creme de la creme.
Yes. And that to me it's hilarious. And it also shows how crazy the criminal life is. So they did a good job of like, oh shit, you don't want to fuck with these guys, but at the same time, oh, these guys are absolutely insane and hilarious. The Gentlemen just showed them being kind of crazy, a little boring, and not crazy enough. I wanted some fucking bonkers shit that would have me cracking up in the theater, and I didn't get that. And the trailer kind of showed that would be the case. Yeah. Like they showed a lot of scenes where you're like, oh man, shit's going to get riled up. And obviously that's what trailers do best. But this trailer lied to me. Like straight up lied to me. And I'm just like, yeah, this wasn't what I want. I didn't want a down to earth, mellow, chill crime story like Layer Cake or something. Yeah. But Layer Cake was
Layer
smart.
Cake was so good though.
Layer Cake is smart. But what I mean is on the way of like mellowness.
Yeah. It was nothing crazy happening.
Exactly. But it was still smart. Gentlemen didn't have the smartness.
It didn't.
And it had a lot of scenes where it was kind of breaking the fourth wall, but not really. It was a little too it was good in the beginning.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. For me personally.
Well, for me, I thought it was really good in the beginning. It got my attention. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be something different, something wacky, right? But it went on way too long, and it kept coming in at the wrong spots, like essentially stopping the story. Yeah. Right when it's about to like kind of get good, and then it just stops. A lot of stopping. So yeah, it wasn't fast paced enough. The characters weren't crazy enough. There's just one or two characters in there that I really enjoyed, but overall, it was just an okay movie. it's not necessarily bad, but it wasn't necessarily good. So that's why I kind of put it in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Just because I thought the acting in general of everybody was really good.
I could agree with that.
But the story itself was really boring, and it could have been a crazy fun story if they allowed the characters to go that way, which they didn't. And I think that's what kind of ruined the movie itself, because everybody was just so bland. Mm-hmm. Nobody was doing anything. It was just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't see Guy Ritchie movies to, see people live their lives, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, Guy Ritchie is supposed to be giving me smart, witty British humor, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't get that at all from this movie.
Not really.
And it doesn't really matter if the main story, the main character of the story is American. It doesn't really matter, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole point of Matthew McConaughey is that he understood the British customs and the British culture, that he was able to integrate himself into that, and is the reason why he created such a huge empire. But it was just so boring. Everything about it was boring. But it was acted very well, and I think that's the only saving grace. And you have these fun some fun characters. Yeah, Colin Farrell was fun. You said you enjoyed
Hugh Grant.
I liked him, but his stick got boring also.
Agreed.
I'm just like, there's just certain, like, when we get into the spoilers, we'll get into more of the reasons why I felt this way. But in general, the whole movie, when I first started watching it, I was excited. Oh man, this is a unique story thing, and it just kept going. I'm just like, okay, now, all right, when is the movie gonna start? And that kind of just bogged it down for me so much that I'm looking to my left and I see Orlando asleep. I'm just like, I get it, buddy.
Yeah, you fucking.
I get it. So I'm just like, I was bored with myself, but I was still watching because I was kind of entertained, but I was just, the whole story itself it's just boring. It's a boring movie. And I would have given it a lower. I mean, you know what, man? The more I'm talking about it, I'll give it a 2.5, Pedro.
Ooh, lower than me.
Yeah, I mean, the more I'm talking about it, I'm just like, it's just fucking boring, dude. And I'm just thinking about all the potential this movie had. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm talking about it with you right now. And I'm like, God, it's a boring movie. So I'll give it a 2.5. Yeah. I'm correcting my initial rating, and I'm bringing it down to 2.5 after this conversation I'm having.
All right, officially 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, man, it has so much potential.
It did.
So let's get into the spoilers, because the only way we're going to talk about this fully is, for you to understand our points, is to actually get into the story and see where I find faults within the story. Pedro, would you recommend it?
No. No, I wouldn't recommend it. Recommend it means that I really liked it, and I'm like, you got to fucking watch it. Yeah. No. If it's on TV, give it a shot. If it's on Netflix, give it a shot. But I wouldn't tell you to go out of your way to find it. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. If you just watch the other first 2 Guy Ritchie films, Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels, and Snatch. That's recommendations. This, no.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't recommend it, but if you so happen to watch it, see it in the streaming, anything, check it out. Maybe you might or may not enjoy it.
Right.
But I would definitely avoid it. Mm-hmm. So let's get into spoilers. We got spoilers ahead. Spoilers.
We're
gonna spoil stuff now. Spoils.
Cool.
So my biggest gripe with the movie, right, Pedro, is the whole narration of it all. And the narration for me slowed down the entire fucking movie. So in the beginning, you're starting off with, some cool dialogue. It's pretty interesting dialogue. But it just kept going. And then it became the narration of it all. And that, I feel like if I would have been okay with that if the movie would have done that and then just gave you the movie from there on, like the story from there, like letting it unravel. And him interject every once in a while with some smart comments.
Yes, like I would say even like a Princess Bride, where it's being narrated, and it only would cut once or twice. But in this one, he was constantly cutting.
It was always a cut. But wait, I gotta take you back to this thing I was doing now. Like, oh, but wait, didn't you weren't doing this? And I'm just like, dude, just let the fucking story itself unravel.
The thing was, the story itself wasn't interesting enough to do that. Like, if he would have stopped, if there were a lot more
crazy shit happening,
high energy points. I don't even want to say action, because it doesn't even need to be action. No. Because then I think about the one I love so much, Snatch, doesn't have any action.
No, it's just,
Except the boxing.
very witty though.
Yeah, it's just witty. Yeah. So there wasn't any wittiness here.
No, this movie was definitely not witty.
No. But I did like Hugh Grant's character a lot. He actually felt like one of the wacky type of characters that I really wanted. He was very exaggerated, very flamboyant. His dialogue was really funny, really good. The thing is, it was just too much.
Yeah,
he was sustaining the whole movie, and that wasn't his job. It shouldn't be. So
he should have bookended the whole entire movie. He should have been at the beginning, interjected every once in a while,
right, and
at the end, when it actually mattered.
Right, and here I think he was too much throughout the entire thing, but he was funny. I don't know. I guess like Deadpool-ish type character,
and it even slowed down.
Certain scenes, momentum.
Yeah, the momentum, but also the character he was with. I forgot his name right now.
It's Charlie Hunnam. Raymond.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
Yes, Raymond.
Yeah, and it slowed down his character because he was so busy. His character throughout the movie was just trying to
just waste time.
Like he wasting his time essentially, and trying to combat what he's the guy, the story the guy's telling him. So he was essentially wasted throughout the entire story.
Yeah. I thought there was a good character in there somewhere because you kind of saw it a little bit when he was with the in the slums. Oh, yeah. You could tell he fucking hates the homeless. He hates junkies.
Yeah.
He's like, don't make me fucking go there. And then he goes there and he's like, fucking junkie. And then he loses his shit, pulls out the gun. And I'm like, there's a good like character in there somewhere, but you only saw it shine in that tiny spot.
That's it.
That was it. Just in that whole from the moment he walks into the door to like intimidate them to when he's chasing them to when he gets the phone. Yeah. From there, that's it. Raymond stopped being an interesting character because that's it. And
he was pointless.
He was pointless.
They didn't use him correctly.
And I was like, no.
And I think he would have shined more if it wasn't for that. Because if the story would have itself unraveled, he would have been an interesting story because he was a right-hand man of Matthew McConaughey. You know what I'm saying? And you would see why Matthew McConaughey has such an appreciation for him.
Right, has him, yeah.
And has him as a right-hand man if you just let the story unfold. And it was just kind of boring, dude. Like, I'm just...
Yeah.
I didn't like how any of the characters were used except Coach.
Yes.
Coach was the best part of the entire movie, which is Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's character. Him and his crew, they were great.
And I love the fact that he was just there for a little bit.
Right.
Because he would have been an overused character just like Hugh Grant.
Yes.
If, you know what I'm saying? If
Did you say Hugh Grant?
Hugh.
He's not a porn star. That'd be a great name.
That would have been a great name. It has to be somebody who has that.
Yeah.
But regardless,
we both sipped our beers at the same time. But anyways.
But the thing is that Colin Farrell should have been a perfect play upon Hugh Grant's character.
Yeah.
How they were sparingly used and it heightened the movie.
Yeah.
And Hugh Grant didn't heighten the movie for me.
I agree with you. Shanti was like, oh, there should have been more Colin Farrell. And I'm like, I think there was the perfect amount. He came in when he had to. His introduction was great. Yeah. And just his overall, like everything. You got to know who he was as a person with just his small little scenes, which I thought was great.
I love the scene when he was when he kidnapped that guy and he had him fuck the pig. He's like, I can't see that shit again.
Yeah. And of course, the one we saw in the trailers a lot is like, his name is Fahok. It rhymes with Fahok.
So his name is Fahok?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Hey, Fahok, shut the Fahok up.
There's another funny scene, dude, that I was watching that I laughed so hard on it and I can't remember
with him.
Now. Just in general in the movie. I'm like, damn, that's such a funny scene. I'm gonna remember that for when for when I gotta review the movie, but then I can't remember it right now.
Shit,
I had it in my mind. But there was just one scene that I found it super hilarious. But apart from that, there was not really any funny moments in the movie either.
No.
There's just kind of maybe like smart dialogue that was, thrown in there every once in a while.
Yeah. The part that was funny, so it was funny, but I also hated that they did this, which was part of Hugh Grant's narration, that he'll introduce characters to create more action in the movie.
He's
an unreliable narrator.
But what he's doing is that he's pitching him a movie about all this.
Oh yes,
because at the end you see that he's pitching the movie.
Right.
So all this is his dramatization to make the movie better.
So pretty much he'll introduce characters and make them fucking crazy. Like he has this scene with Henry Golding's character Dry Eye where he just fucking starts shooting, and then that's when Charlie Hunnam's character's like, "That's not the Dry Eye I know," and he's like, "Oh, you're right, Raymond." It's not him, And then of course they did the same thing with Matthew McConaughey.
And that scene was so
That
fucking
scene was
good.
so good. And I'm like, I would have been cool if they would have killed Henry Golding by then.
Oh yeah, it would have made perfect sense for me.
I would have been like, oh shit, he's like another. Well, let me not spoil anything for Snatch. And just another character. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he's a decently big name,
Yeah.
And then they killed him immediately. I was like, oh wow.
So the
But
grandpa,
no,
the grandpa was
Thousand Eyes.
Thousand Eyes from Marco Polo.
Yeah. I know that enough. I haven't watched Marco Polo, but I know enough to recognize that.
He's
was
such a
him.
good character, man. You know what you should watch? Essentially, Thousand Eyes is it's a master in the show.
They did a movie of just him.
Exactly.
That's the one.
It's like a 15-minute movie. You should watch it, dude.
Netflix,
It's so good.
Netflix kept recommending me to watch it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it without watching Marco Polo. And then Netflix canceled Marco Polo, and I went, I guess I'm not watching any of it.
You're never gonna watch Marco Polo, but you should watch the Thousand Eye one because it's essentially his story
Okay,
of how
so you
he
don't have
became
to-
Thousand Eyes. You don't need the.
That's cool.
You're watching the show. You never know his story. So, essentially, he's just a master.
Yeah.
But this tells you why he was in Marco Polo. I mean, not Marco in Genghis Khan.
His army or
in
whatever.
his circle.
Mhm.
So that movie explains to it his character. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to watch anything about Marco Polo to watch the Thousand Eye movie.
Well, yeah.
It's so good, dude. So I'm just like, oh shit, it's Thousand Eyes, dude. I'm like, this is amazing. I love that guy. I wish I would see him in more shit.
Yeah.
He's so good. And he wasn't better. And what I like is like they made him too old. And I think they should have played with the fact that he was old, but he's still a badass.
Right. They like I said, everyone should have been exaggerated.
Yeah.
Everyone. If they would have exaggerated him in that way, it still would have been great.
It would have been great.
And then it would have made him menacing enough to realize why Henry Golding's character would have to betray him. Like, oh, let me shoot him in the back because I can't fucking like handle
Yeah.
him. You know? So there were just certain things that's like, damn, you could have really made these characters interesting. Matthew McConaughey, for the most part, was like the straight man. He wasn't really too much in one direction or the other, but that's okay because he's essentially the main character.
And he's retiring, so it doesn't really matter.
So, I mean, you can add things. I would have liked more moments where he snaps, like the lion
Oh my
speech that
God.
wasn't real. But
was
if he would have had
so
moments
good.
like that and then just relax back and go, I'm just retiring. It's
Yeah.
okay. Just retiring. I'm my lovely wife. But yeah.
It would have made more sense for sure.
So here's the thing that I didn't understand, right? So obviously Hugh Grant is exaggerating the story. So every action scene he's exaggerating, you
Yeah.
know? So he's exaggerating the scene with Matthew McConaughey's wife where she has the gun and she shoots the two guys, I guess, and then he's about to like rape her or whatever. But then when you find out afterwards, it actually did go that way. Because I pretty much went into the movie thinking I can't trust anything that he's saying. So for all I know, these characters are alive. Even though he's saying they're
at
dead.
that point, he wasn't narrating that. He was narrating how.
You don't think he was narrating that?
No,
part?
he wasn't narrating that. He was just essentially telling him like the Russians are coming after you guys, and the Asian guy is going after his wife. Because the whole point.
See,
of
that's
that-
confusing. Why have him narrate and purposely mis-narrate the movie and then show true things in there and then confuse people?
Because at that point he was done narrating. At that point he was telling him, look, this was gonna happen. You know, the assassination attempt got fucked up. So this is what they're gonna do now. They're gonna come here, and we need to finish this before they get here.
Right.
And then they're going to kill him during the. Remember that's the point where Colin Farrell went to his car, and the kids are like, "Oh, don't worry, we noticed this. We got you. We got you."
Yeah, yeah.
So that's because they were gonna save Mickey.
Yeah.
So Hugh Grant didn't know any of that. He just knew that they were gonna assassinate him.
Yes,
At
yes.
that point, they're gonna kidnap him in the car, and that's what he said. Don't get in the car. And that's what he was texting him. Like, oh, then get in the car. Charlie Hunnam's character was texting
Right,
Mickey,
right.
don't get into the car.
And
so
that's
he
a-
didn't know any of that. That was actually happening, but what he was narrating is the plan that was gonna happen. He wasn't narrating how it was going to go down. He was just narrating like this is what's gonna happen because of XXX. It wasn't really like he was not narrating
Okay.
that. That was already happening in the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Because I watched that and I'm like, oh, this is part of his screenplay. And then I'm like, oh shit, he really killed him. And I'm like, this isn't fake.
At that point, he was just narrating he was not narrating. He was just letting him know of the plan.
Oh, okay. Well, that was confusing. I didn't like that scene the way it made me think one thing and then it really was another. And I'm just like, that didn't make any sense
Yeah,
to
it
me.
didn't.
You could have showed it, but just do it differently. That wasn't,
Because of that, again, what the fuck, where the part where this movie is fucking up is that the entire movie he spent narrating it to you. and narrating it in the sense of like he keeps interjecting in it. Like it kept cutting back and forth, and that confuses the audience. You know what I'm saying?
It did.
Instead of essentially being like, "Hey, this is he's gonna narrate it," and then when we're back in that present time, the narration is over. The movie never really did that fully for you to understand that, because he kept going in and out of the story, and that's what affected it the most. You know. So I think if there would have been a clear narration point of beginning and end, but there never was, because the whole entire movie, he was there to tell you about it.
There was another minor subplot that I thought was essentially pointless. They could have found another way to have the Russians mad at them. I didn't like that they had to do this whole subplot essentially of like the royal family's daughter's missing, and then they go in there and they find the junkie. And then they bring the royal, you know, the royal like princess back to the family or whatever.
Yeah, that was a
and then there's a weird montage of action, and then suddenly it cuts to her like ODing, and then she dies, and the family's like mourning her. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
There was no point.
There was 0 point to that.
Essentially, the point was just to bring the Russian oligarch.
Yeah, it was just for them to accidentally kill the junkie that was the Russian. That's essentially what it was, to bring them. But there's other ways you could have done it without bringing in this whole other plot that didn't turn out to be anything.
It didn't mean anything. And I think it would have been better if the guy he was trying to sell it to was trying to assassinate him, or even the Chinese were trying to assassinate him. I think that would have been an easier way to do it, because they're already clans and characters already introduced. You know, groups that were introduced. There's no fucking point of bringing in a Russian. There's no point of that. And the only few reasons that was there is for you to see how good Charlie Hunnam is. Because apart from that, you will never see how good Charlie Hunnam is.
Right.
Because he's a wasted character, essentially. And introduce the Russian oligarch to get killed, the Russian prince, in order the Russian oligarch to come in and try to kill Mickey. That's the only reason that story existed.
Right.
Because without that, Charlie Hunnam would be a pointless character, like even more pointless than what he is now. And how are you gonna try to kill Mickey?
Yeah. They should have made the Russians a bigger presence from the beginning. Because I felt like they were totally wasted as well.
Or not even bring him into the movie.
And just keep it to the Asians.
Just keep it to the Asians and the other guy's crew, which you never met. You just met the Hassad or whatever.
Yeah.
The Hassad people. That's all you saw.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like, why are you going to introduce another thing that make no sense, and you have to like, just keep it within that family of that trinity of families.
He's no stranger. Guy Ritchie's no stranger to introducing a fuck ton of characters, but give them all their moment to shine.
Yeah,
and this one didn't do that
because of the narration. He wanted to have the narration, and the narration limited the movie.
Yeah, the narration definitely fucking slowed it down. But I think even just the writing, aside from the narration, like without the narration, it still would have been the same movie. In a way, because it kind of just would have been like, oh, this still isn't smart enough.
No.
Like the characters don't meet as, I don't know, it just wasn't tight. It wasn't a tight script.
And it wasn't witty.
Yeah. So
none of the characters were witty. None of them were, I don't know, like you said, over the top. And it was just kind of, it was very dull.
Definitely should have been over the top. That's their mistake. That's what's made the other one so fun. So.
Yeah, and they were all witty, and how their stories kind of ended was in a witty fashion, you know?
Yeah.
Like it made sense, like, oh, okay, I get it. And this one was trying to be too slick for itself. And it just kind of bored it down.
So now that we kind of brought it up, Guy Ritchie, he's lost his mojo. Definitely. Yeah. So he did The Gentleman, he did Aladdin, also last year. He did King Arthur.
It was boring.
I didn't like it. He did Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I didn't see.
It was all right.
And he did the 2 Sherlocks.
I saw 1, but not 2.
I saw 1 as well, and I didn't care for 1.
Yeah.
And then he did Rock and Roller, which I thought was decent.
I didn't like Rock and Roller.
And I thought it was decent. Revolver was very experimental.
I didn't like Revolver either.
I need to watch that again. I remember not liking it, though. And then, this one I didn't know he made. Apparently, he made a rom-com called Swept Away in 2002.
Oh, I've never heard of it. Who's in it? That's so weird.
That is weird.
I never heard him.
I did not know this one. It's got Madonna. Oh, that's why he did it, because he was married to Madonna at the time. He made a movie for Madonna.
Is that the gay one? Did she have a kid from a gay guy?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know. And then he did Star. Oh, shit. Another Madonna one that I didn't know about. Jesus. Yep. And then he did Snatch and Lock, Stock. And that's where I know him from. And he did a short film called Hard Case, which is probably really good.
Well, Snatch and Lockstock are his first two movies. I like Snatch more than Lockstock.
Yes, agreed.
But
they're both
damn,
excellent.
dude, so he hasn't really done shit for a long time.
So Madonna ruined him. I'm gonna go out here and say it. Madonna ruined him.
Isn't that what everybody says though? I think I've heard that shit before. That
yeah.
After he got with Madonna, he's just kind of like went downhill from there.
And then he tried getting back to his other things, and he's not having it. Yeah, dude, he's lost his mojo. I'm not looking forward to anything that has coming up. I was looking forward to this because I thought it was I thought it was a return to form, but it was not.
Ah, man, Madonna ruined him, dude. I heard that somewhere before. Like Madonna fucking destroyed him.
He's his she's his Yoko.
He's not creative anymore with her.
Or maybe he just had those two, and then he just sucked afterwards.
Maybe, dude.
It's possible.
Man, if only he didn't date Madonna.
We'll never know.
There's an alternate universe there somewhere that he didn't date Madonna.
And he probably still sucked. He probably still sucked.
Well, there's probably when he does suck and when he's really good.
Yeah.
So. All right, Pedro, any last words?
No, man. That's about it.
Yeah, I agree. Hope you enjoyed, though.
Actually, one more word. We need more movies with Colin Farrell.
Dude, I hate the... All right, so this is my problem with a lot of these actors, right? Colin Farrell.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I wish he could do more shit, but nobody puts him on. Matthew McConaughey has lost a lot of his shit, and I like him as an actor. I would like to see him in more stuff. There's certain actors that
Colin Farrell is gonna be Penguin in Batman, so there's that. That might be
that may bring him back.
Yeah,
if the movie's good.
If the movie's good.
If the movie's good, it'll bring him back. It's like what's his? Fuck, I had his name in the tip of my tongue.
Make it work.
Nah, I don't really care about that guy. The guy from Blade Runner.
Ryan Gosling.
I wish I could see him in more stuff, but nobody gets him either. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. A lot of these good actors, and this movie had a lot of good actors in it, which is the crazy part.
Well, it's not crazy because it's Guy Ritchie. He's got connections.
So I don't know, man. I wish I would like to see a lot of these people in different things. But anyways, that's it, Pedro.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Hope you enjoyed this review of The Gentlemen. Don't check it out unless you're bored and see it on HBO or something. Mm-hmm. Rather than that, stay away. Hope you enjoyed this review. Follow us on social media platforms. Hit us up, DMs, comments. You know what's up. Till next time.
Bye-bye.